Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about our Zotac 3080s loaded in an Octominer. We also removed some fans directly off the card, so there's 0 fans. There's supposed to be 3 of them, but we removed that. We wanted to see what the results would be with fans and without fans. So if you think that's interesting, hit like, subscribe, hit the bell, go to cryptollc.org. If you would like us to set you up a GPU or ASIC mining farm, so we do that for clients all over the world. Doesn't matter where you live, we can set you up a farm such as this one here. We also set up bigger farms for bigger clients that want to do megawatts, 2 megawatts, 3 megawatts. We do that in containers. And for smaller clients, we do it inside of warehouses. So go to cryptollc.org. We also sell GPUs and ASICs. Right now is the best time to buy. If you want to set up a farm, the best time is right now. It's the absolute best time. You'll get the best prices, a lot of quantity, get as many cards as you want, as many Octominers as you want, as many open air systems as you want. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth and Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, so we got our Zotacs here. These are 3080s. You can see the spacing on them on Octominer is basically non-existent. There is basically no space at all. Let me try to get a shot of that space so you can see what I'm talking about. Kind of dark over there. Maybe go from this side. You can see it's like a 1/4 inch basically. It's even less than Mystic Miner. Mystic Miner has a little bit more space for the Zotacs, but here they barely fit. They got like a 1/4 inch spacing. Put my finger there, you can see right there. Look at that. It's like a 1/4 inch, barely any spacing. So what we thought was, since the space is so small, we decided to test it out without fans at all. So we removed some fans off of 2 cards here. So you can see with no fans, I can put my finger there. Look at that, all the way in there. No fans here spinning at all. And it's just blowing right on the heat sink. Here's a heat sink that's touching the actual core. So the core is going to be on this side right there. You see those 2 bolts? So the core is in the middle, and then the VRAM is around the core. So you can imagine the VRAM's around this position here, back there, and towards the front. So the heat sink is covering all of that. So what we want to know is, what would the results be here? With fans or without fans? Would it be better or worse? So that's also going to be part of today's test. And seeing that if you did have a bunch of Zotac 3080s and you had Octominers, would you leave the fans on or would you remove the fans? And before we get to that, give you guys some more shots here. Internals of Octominer. And some shots from this angle here. And then let's go from the back. So these 2 right here, these 2 that I'm pointing at right now, those 2 are the ones without the fans. Very interested. See what we're gonna get out of these guys. All right, so let's take a look at the front. So it's a standard 12 Extreme from Octominer. Got those standard 5 fans. We're running these fans at manual 100% load on the fans because we want to just test out best case scenario, get as much air flowing through there. Very interested in these guys over here at the bottom. See what we're going to get there. Of course, it'd be great if it ran as is without taking the fans off, because then we have less work to do. But if those fans are causing problems, so we want to get rid of them. So again, this is the test unit. I had to take the power from a different unit over here. A lot of wires in the way and stuff like that, so keep that in mind. This is all test. This is not permanent or anything like that. Once we have these videos completed, once we have our test completed, then we're going to move these rigs to a permanent position, a permanent solution. All right, so right now, I'm gonna put that lid on, give you another shot, and then at the end, we're gonna go over the results, comparing this to open air, comparing it versus with fans and without fans. All right, we got the lid on. Take a look at the back here. So again, you got a bunch of those Zotacs, and then a couple of them don't have their fans on at all. So now we're going to overclock this rig, get it stabilized, and then have those results at the end. All right, we got the results here. So this is the Octominer Zotac 3080. You see all 12 GPUs here are loaded, all Zotacs. And here are the results. Again, we're loading it core 1100. Then we have the memory at 22. If any of the cards had a hard time running at 22, we'll lower it to 18. But basically it's around 18, 22. Most of them are 22. Except this one right here. That one had a problem. But we want to get the test going as soon as possible, so we didn't have time to investigate this. We just wanted to make a video and then fix the other things later. So looking at this, we have our results. We can see right here, 95, 99, 94, 99, 97, and so on. Also the fan speeds are on this side right here. And as you remember, we had two fans or two GPUs that we unplugged all the fans. So we just totally took out the whole entire 3-fan setup, removed that whole shroud, took out all the fans. So that's going to be these two over here. And you can see they're similarly clocked in. They're running at 104, which means they're being downclocked. So both of these are being downclocked. They're supposed to be at 99. But you can see they're running at 93, 94. So they're a little bit downclocked. It looks like about 5%, 4 or 5% downclocked. By the way, the temperature was 73 degrees when this was taken. So this is 73 degrees outside. So if we were to drop down to 65, these will upclock back up to 99. Only when it goes, past like 70 where it'll start downclocking like this. But that'll give you an idea, because we wanted to compare the Zotac with no fans right here. So imagine we had those two GPUs with 0 fans on those GPUs, right? We're basing everything off of those 5 Octominer fans blowing away the heat on the Zotac. So we're not putting any weight on those 3 fans, they're gone. That'll be these two right here. This one up here, this is just a glitch. Sometimes this happens in Octominer, but there are fans there and they are spinning. For some reason, it was just showing 0. But we know these two are our guys right here. As for the other ones, you can compare. You can see this one right here, 99 with 3 fans. It's running at 98, so it's cooler. This one's 91 because it's downclocked to 700. So technically this would be 99. This one's also 99. Has a VRAM at 9857. So the core is great. The VRAM is great for the ones that have the fans on. And the fans are only spinning at about 90%. So it looks great. If you look up here, 99.1, 97. So if you keep the fans on in Octominer on Zotac, they work great. You can see them working great, no problems. They're running about like 80, 90%. And you have room to spare. You're running around 96, like this one right here has 96. This one's at 90%. So you can kind of wiggle it around. You have room to spare. You can still keep going up on the temperature outside, and this will be running just fine. Also keeping in mind that this rig from the video, you can see that it's not placed next to the intake. It's placed on the second layer. So once this rig will be finalized, we'll move it closer to the intake. So these temps will drop even more, but we wanted to give it like a worst case scenario. Let's say you're running in a warmer, hotter environment. What would happen, and so on. So this is one of those scenarios. Great way to test it out. But we know that, so we know one thing for sure. We know that Zotac 3 fans works fine in Octominer, even though it's so crammed, there's like a 1/4 inch space
it does work. The airflow is fine. The VRAM is fine. The core is fine. We can see the core here as well, 65, 54, 60, 57, 62. So the core is great. Everything is working good. But we want to look at with no fans at all. So we're looking at these two right here. With no fans at all, we are downclocking. So you can see that we are downclocking. So that means it is worse to run these with no fans. It's better to run them with fans than to run them with no fans at all. But the only way to know for sure, anyone out there that wants to tinker around with this, the only way to know for sure is you need to take off all the fans in the whole entire rig, have 0 fans there, create all that extra space, then test it out. Also, you need to move it closer to the intake to make sure that we're not taking any second layer heat from the first layer GPUs. Then test it out, because in that scenario, I think that it'll be just fine. It'll run just fine. It'll be nice and cool. Would be about 95 on the VRAM. So it looks good. Now let's compare this to Mystic Miner. So we also got Mystic Miner all finished up, and here are the results for Mystic Miner. Actually have open air loaded to the left, so it's a little bit smaller here. But you can see Mystic Miner is running, and Mystic Miner also has 2 fans, or 2 GPUs that don't have any fans on them. So that's going to be these two over here. And you can see one of them is actually really nice. It's actually at 96, even though the fan is 0 because we removed it. It's at 99, 89. So Mystic Miner, as you guys remember, has a little bit more space. And these Zotac, they barely fit on Octominer, right, with the fans. On Mystic Miner, they fit, and they have like I would say like 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch spacing. So they have a pretty good spacing, and I think that's playing a role here, because when we removed the fan from this GPU right over here, we removed that fan on that 56 there and then 96 on the VRAM. When we remove that, look at that, it's still running at maximum speed, 99.12. And the other one down here, this is just a Mystic Miner thing where usually the first and the last have, they kind of heat up more. I think it's a Mystic Miner. That's how they manufactured it. You know, you probably have to add like another fan there or something like that. So I don't think it has anything to do with the GPUs. It just has to do with Mystic Miner doing that to the first and last fans. So not much you can do about that other than maybe add another fan, or maybe just replacing the VRAMs. I mean the thermal pads. But you can look at the other GPUs. Look at this: 99.1, 99.1, 99.3, 99.3, 97, because it's downclocked, right? You can see right there it's downclocked, 97. Then 99.1, 99.1, 99.3, you know, and so on. This one's a little bit downclocked. This one has to have new thermal pads. But the rest of them, look at that. They're all solid. They're all solid because they're all running max. And look at the VRAMs, 96, 98, 96, 96. So the difference here is that on the Mystic Miner, the space is a little bit different, a little bit wider, or more space, about like 1/2 inch more. That's creating more airflow, it's blowing through better, and cooling off the cards a little bit better. So we can see that there. Again, this is only when it gets warmer and when behind the first layer of GPU. So you mix up my words. You remove the first layer, you put it next to the intake. I think all these problems would be gone, and I think that Octominer would handle this. You might need some additional exhaust fans there, and possibly add another fan for intake. So some modifications to Octominer. And we are talking to Octominer to get them to do some modifications the way we want them to be done. That way, even if it's like 110 degrees outside, it'll still handle this just fine. All right, now let's look at open air. So this is open air. Give you guys another idea. You want to pause the video and take a look at open air. So this is the open air Zotac. Again, taking at 73 degrees. This is a rig right behind, on the video, you saw the rig right behind it. We took those GPUs off of that rig and then used them for Octominer. But before we did that, we took some screenshots of the rig running. It does have a 3090 on there. And again, it's not fully loaded and all that. This is just testing. So you can skip the 3090 here, forget this 3090. But you can look at the other 3080. So let's look at open air. Look, 90. This one's because it's downclocked. Again, we're swapping cards in and out, so They're not fully maxed out, but you can see that by the VRAM and by the core and by the memory, this will hit 99 no problem. So 99, 99, 99. Look at all these 99, 99, 99, 92. Okay, this one is a little bit downclocked because it's at 104. This is full, 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 and full. This one's at 1800 because it was having some overclock issues. But basically every single card on this open rig, every single card is fully loaded. All of them on open air. So if you have Zotac open air 73 degrees, even on second layer, it'll be fine. So conclusion here is Octominer needs to do some more adjustments here, some millimeter adjustments, some fan adjustments, create more space between the GPUs. That needs to be done. We can also do some more tests and remove the fans completely on all 12 GPUs and see what the results will be, because we do need to have that space, and there's just not enough space. The Zotac cards look like they are handling the VRAMs, the heat from them. So the heat sink on the Zotac seems to be decent quality and does remove a lot of the heat. So it is pretty good. There are cards out there that you put them in this scenario and they're not going to perform as good because the heat sink is just not good. On the Zotac looks pretty good. The only thing, just remove the fans, I think, or just put them next to the intake. So yeah, so that's the results in this take. We'll also be redoing some of these videos in the future once we get maybe a different Octominer, different version, maybe a different version of Mystic Miner. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, like the video, because in the future some other version comes out. We're going to test that out. We're going to see how it runs. Some other Zotacs come out, or maybe we think of a way to remove some other components to a GPU to cool it off even more. Whatever it is, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Don't miss any of that stuff. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Until next time, bye.